I'm gonna show you guys how I made these white chicken enchiladas. They're so good. I start with 2 cups of rotisserie chicken. You can use your own chicken and just shred it, but I just found it easier just to go buy rotisserie chicken at the grocery store. Then I add a couple of cups of cheese. I add between 2.5 to 3 cups of cheese, and I use a white cheese. And I believe I use mozzarella and Monterey Jack for this one, but you can use any cheese you want. Pepper jack, anything that's melty. Fontina would be really good as well. And then you can put them together in the bowl and just mix them around. I'm only gonna season this mixture with salt and pepper because I want the cheese and the chicken and then the sauce we put on top to really be the star of the show. Next, we're gonna grab some taco-sized flour tortillas and start to roll our enchiladas. My favorite flour tortillas are the Tortilla Factory, and you could find them at a lot of grocery stores. I think I got these ones at Whole Foods. Now I'm gonna use a large spoon and just grab a few spoonfuls of the chicken and cheese mixture and put it right on to the top portion of the flour tortilla. There's really no exact science or measurement to how much chicken and cheese to put into the tortilla. You just sort of get a gut feeling on what's the right amount. Normally I would be using gloves, but for this video, I just did it with my hands. It always looks weird to use gloves on YouTube videos for some reason, but I don't like to usually get too handsy with my food. So we're just gonna roll this up nice and tight, then put this into a 9x13 buttered baking dish. You can also use nonstick cooking spray. I just use butter because I like the flavor that it adds to my food. So I just use a couple of tablespoons and then wipe it around with a paper towel and make sure all the crevices are nice and greased. Now I'll just repeat filling and rolling each enchilada and placing them into the 9x13 baking dish. For this bowl of chicken and cheese that we used, we should be able to get about 8 to 10 enchiladas out of it, which is about a full 9x13 tray. Now I'll finish rolling these up, put them to the side with a covered towel, and we'll start making our sauce. In a saucepan over medium heat, we're gonna add a half of a stick of salted butter. We're gonna let it melt down, and once it begins to sizzle, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of flour. Mix the flour and the butter together and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. Be sure to whisk it as it's cooking to prevent it from burning. Finally, we'll whisk in 2 cups of chicken stock, let it thicken, and then remove the pan from the stove. At this point, your sauce should be lusciously smooth just like this. And now that it's off the heat, we're gonna add 1 4-ounce can of Hatch green chilies. These give the sauce incredible flavor without being too overpowering. Mix these in to evenly incorporate them in the sauce, and then we're gonna add some sour cream. Now it's important that we don't add the sour cream while the pan is still on the heat because it'll make the sour cream curdle and separate from the sauce, which is really gross. We're adding 1 cup of sour cream to this mixture in total, and we're just gonna whisk it until it's smooth. Now, not only does the sour cream make these enchiladas nice and tangy, but we're also gonna add the juice of 1 whole lime into this sauce. Then I'll add a little bit of pepper, give this a good whisk, and the sauce is ready to be poured over those enchiladas. Now that our sauce is evenly coated over every inch of these enchiladas, we're gonna add a few handfuls of that same cheese we put on the inside and just do a big layer on top. We'll put these in a preheated oven at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes until they're nice and bubbly. To get the tops a little toasty, I hit this under the broiler for about 3 to 4 minutes toward the very end. And the last part before we cut into these enchiladas is to slice up some green onion and sprinkle those over the top. Okay, so I was a little impatient when I was cutting into these. You should really wait about 20 minutes for them to cool and set up a bit, so they're a lot easier to cut. But I was super anxious to stop filming so I could actually eat them, and I struggled a little bit in trying to cut into them and get them on the plate. And by the way, these were also a lot bigger than the plates I chose, so I don't really know what I was thinking. And of course, you can find the detailed written recipe for these tangy white chicken enchiladas on my blog at badbatchbaking.com. I feel like this recipe is actually really easy, and I hope you guys do as well. They're amazing paired with margaritas, and I actually have a recipe for a margarita float that I will leave a recipe link for in the description, as well as a copycat recipe for Chewy's famous creamy jalapeno sauce that was super popular on my blog, and I'm gonna add the link to that one as well. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can be alerted each week when I post a brand new video.